Hello, good morning. Welcome to Talk Wordy to Me, the podcast where we have a author that we are centralizing. Centralizing, is that a word I'm going to use today? Yeah, let's go with that one. Of each particular episode, and we go diving deep into their skeleton-filled closets to find out more about why they are who they are and what makes them tick. Of course, I don't do this alone. I do it with a co-host, Stephen Ross. So, hello.
Hello, Z. How are you this morning? It's morning, right? Morning? Yeah, it's morning for you.
It is morning, yes. I felt
Uh,
like I should almost have done a, come on down sort of scenario with that one. Is the price right for you? Spin the wheel. No. Yes, no, all good. We've got a very interesting author to be centralizing on today. I've used the word again. I'm not sure why I'm using the word centralized, but here we go. I'm just going to fly with it because it's popping up.
Yeah, spread your wings and fly like a bird.
This particular author I adore because he writes very similar creatures to what I do. I do love, everyone knows I love the dark, paranormal, human side of the writing community because, we have enough serious stuff in our lives. It's nice to laugh. I like laughing. And our author today does exactly that. We almost have cousin characters. I think we should write a cohabitation, a collab of characters.
Kissing cousins, just like Arkansas.
Kissing cousins. Ning, 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 ning. Yeah, no. Well, of course, our author of choice today is the delightful, the deathly Ross Young. Ross Young,
yeah, we share a name, although last name first, but I guess that's ahead of me.
You're a Mr. Ross, and he's a Ross Mister.
Well, generally if I'm called Mr. Sir, may you please leave?
Oh, well, we're not going to ask you to leave right now because I need somebody else to co-host this podcast with me. So please stay for the moment. Thanks very much.
Anything for you.
Yes. All right, Ross Young. He writes The Reaper. Now, this, of course, when I've spoken to Ross a number of times and been part of his little world last Christmas, which was very, very cool. And the first thing that initially attracted me to read Ross's stuff, and this is what we talk about when we're building brands. When we talk about building brands, is having that persona or that platform online that attracts you to read them. So he makes, he's got his main character is a Grim Reaper, of course, which attracts me straight away because it's what I like. So he does all his own art, all his own drawings. He puts up these things that are jokes and fun and frivolity, and it attracts you to go find out more about him as an author. And this is what we need, is bait. And he's brilliant at casting the rod of writer bait into the writing community.
Yeah, brand is, I think, by far your author brand, the most important thing to get a readership. If you don't sell yourself, you're not going to sell your books. Simple as that, I think.
It's literary prostitution, yes.
Well, I'm not averse to, making a couple of dollars off my hiney.
We're not going to go. Well, theoretically, the principle is exactly the same, isn't it? I mean, we do something and we get paid for it. So, yeah, it's literary prostitution. I'm going to call it what it is. I actually should change my bio to include that because I like it. I'm no longer an author. I'm a literary prostitute.
I am corrupting Dzintra.
Oh, can you imagine it? I think I might just put it up just for shits and giggles. See what happens. See how many people just go, "You're a what now?" That's right. That's right. And I charge by the hour to read my books.
Well, yeah, I guess that's not a bad way to do it. I mean, better by the hour than by the inch.
All right. Back to the delightful Ross Young. Now, he has a series out. These are four books in this series of Gloomwood, the Deadheads. Gloomwood Bookwood. Book 1 is the Deadheads. And of course, then we go further into Get Ted Dead, Dead Festive, and Dead Culture. I feel like I have a soul connection to Ross with my Days of Death series and his Gloomwood book series. And I feel like I have a soul connection through the Reaper. Like we're Reaper buddies. We're literary prostitutes that reside in the same brothel. That's what we do. All right, Ross, I'm glad that you've got the book the room next to me in the brothel of book literary prostitutes. And how many times can I say that in a podcast and get away with? Who knows? Who knows? I'm going to test the waters. Deadheads. Oh my goodness. Deadhead, the Gloomwood series, is, well, primarily, and I'm trying to pull up his thingy. Do you want to, I'm going to read the blurb. Should I read the blurb for the last one or for the first one?
I think first would probably be the best.
I think the first one, because that's going to start people off on this particular series, and I can't recommend it enough. That people start this. If you love dark humor and you love the paranormal and you have a soft spot for the Reaper, this is going to be right up your darkened alley. All right, the blurb is: what happens when we die? Why are dead people scared? What would take the Grim Reaper's head? Welcome to Gloomwood, the city of the dead and the Grim Reaper's personal slice of the afterlife. In a city where the rules of the living don't apply, Detective Blunt's drowning in trouble and he's never been much of a swimmer. With the aid of a reality challenged scientist, a bumbling bureaucrat, and a self-titled reporter extraordinaire, he's on the case where everybody's already kicked the bucket. Dead gods, forgotten dreams, broken promises, lost hopes, they all end up in this city, and any one of them could have a reason for exacting revenge. Can Blunt uncover the villain decapitating the city's elite before the afterlife implodes? Feel like laughing in the face of death? Well, you'd better find his head. You'll love this afterlife adventure because we all want to know what comes after death, if it is anything at all. It challenges, it's one of those concepts which I love, and it challenges the known. We all think, through faith or through whatever, we all think we know what's going to happen when we die. The heaven, the hell, the reaper, the whatever else, and it challenges that in a comical way.
It is very reminiscent of your work. And I think they would sit nicely on the shelf.
Oh, that'd be great.
Ross
Young, we should do a 2-for-1 deal. Come on, let's.
Are we back on the prostitution again?
Yeah, possibly. I not only love the concept of this. Of course, I love the concept of it because it's something that I write about, and I love the Reaper with I adore the character, and anything that twists that character makes it it's so tantalizing for me. But if you look at his covers, have you looked at his covers? They are just gorgeous. I love them.
Very unique.
They stand out. They pop out of the page. You're scrolling through Amazon and pop up pops Get Ted Dead, and I'm just like click, click, click.
I think they're they're a near perfect example of putting out a cover that's going to draw someone's eyes on Amazon amongst the millions and millions of books. They stick out. They look like they belong, and they do belong, on any bookshelf anywhere.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
No, go. No, don't go.
If I scroll through books on Amazon, a lot of times there's just these bland, generic, cookie cutter covers, and I don't even look at them. If I see his book, I'm gonna take a second look at that. I'm not gonna stop. Or I'm gonna stop, I'm not going to just pan through it and brush it off. It's something I'm gonna actually spend time on. Whether or not it's my bailiwick, it's my type of story, which I think it actually is. It doesn't matter. As long as you can hook someone with that cover, you have a chance, a potential sale.
And do you know what else I love about the covers? And this is from a strictly female point of view.
Oh.
I want them all. They look so pretty all together. Yes, I want them all. Strictly female point of view, I look at the first one, I go, oh, look at the second one, oh, look at the third one, look at the fourth one. I'd buy them all based purely on the fact that I love all of the covers and they would look so good all together on my bookcase.
I don't know if that's a purely female thing, because that's a big thing
really?
for me too. I have a bookshelf behind me right now that has a series of books, and they're set just so that everything looks nice together. I mean, that maybe it's just my feminine side.
Maybe you're just shaking your ovaries. There you go.
My external ovaries, yes.
I love the covers. I can't stress enough. If you're looking for an example of an author that has nailed the brief in writing a series covers for a series, or designing covers for a series, Ross Young's nailed it, undoubtedly. They fit nicely together. They're easily visible and they look uber cool.
Absolutely. The middle one, Get Ted Dead.
Get Ted Dead. God, I love it. It's just so cute.
With the teddy bear, with the butcher knife directly in its head. It blows me away. I love that.
Yeah. Now, this is his debut series. This is, and it says here in his bio that I love it because, okay, when you're creating a platform, your bio, your anything you put up on your social media forms and all of this, it has to be part of your platform. It has to be, not part of your platform, sorry, part of your brand. It has to be you. Your words are you. If you're going to sell you as an author, your words are you. So his bio, which states Deadhead is his debut novel, forms part of a series set in the city of Gloomwood. This part is the kicker for me. He does not write from personal experience, as despite his appearances and demeanor, he is not dead. I love that. I love that because it makes me laugh. It makes me instantly connect with his humor. Instantly.
It lends him authenticity.
Yeah.
And that's important.
Absolutely.
Doesn't matter what you write, who you are. Be you.
Yeah. I love it. I can't speak highly enough of Ross Young, the way he markets himself. If you follow him on Twitter, on the gram, I'm pretty sure he's over on the Tickety Talk too, that his brand, him, is everything. Even to the point, last Christmas, he did the 12 Demons of Christmas, where he invited authors to come and voice demons that he did cartoons for, little mini movies.
I'm just going to cut you off for a second there. Ross, if you are listening, I want to be the next demon.
I want to be the next demon. I want to be it again. Ross, ask me again. I want to do it. I did one last Christmas, and it was so much fun. He made me a demon, and I loved it. And if you ever asked me to do it again, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Absolutely.
Oh, I would be honored. And I already look like one. I already have.
There you go. But when you're looking at people marketing themselves really correctly, it comes at Christmas time. He's doing the 12 Demons of Christmas. What a better way of promoting promoting your book, promoting what's his two guys? Oh, I've lost his thingies.
Beasley and Grimm.
Beasley and Grimm, that's it. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Ross. I was there. I was right there. Beasley and Grimm. What a better way of promoting Beasley and Grimm than to invite authors and other members of the writing community to come in and be part of their world for the 12 days of Christmas, creating a snowballing effect of shares and tweets and likes and comments and all of this magic that happens as marketing genius. Marketing genius.
You are correct.
I love it. All right. Can you read some of his stuff? He sent us some.
Yes. And as luck has it, I can read.
You can read. Well, thank God for that, because otherwise we're up the creek without a paddle. Now, for those playing at home, everything that we read and we talk about on Talk Wordy to Me has been given permission by the author. So these words or this snippet that he sent is from Dead Culture. Dead Culture is the 4th book in the Gloomwood series. He has sent to us and gives full permission for us to read on the show. So just so, legally purposes and all of that sort of jazz, we're all above board, people, above board.
Legalese.
So yes, so this snippet from Dead Culture, book 4 in there. I am right, aren't I? Yeah, book 4 has just been released in the Gloomwood series. Now, when was it released? Hang on, let me snoot down. 3rd of April?
Very recent.
3rd of April it came out. So people need to jump on that. 17 reviews on it already. Awesome. That is phenomenal. I love it. All right. Give it a shot. Let's pardon?
Not jealous at all.
Not jealous at all. I'm handing this over to Stephen Ross to read Ross Young, because it's the Ross thing. It's the Ross factor that's happening with this one, and I'm going to let it go. All right, your turn.
All right. Let there be light, the Grim Reaper said. It's funny because he looked around the empty staff room with his skeletal hand on the fridge door. Oh, you've all left. The door opened and light cascaded out, bathing the form of the Grim Reaper in its glow. His polished skull and grinning face moved towards it, and he reached out with one black-sleeved hand. His fingers wavered and then stopped. That's strange, said Death, the final curtain, the bridge between the mortal world and the great beyond. Where's my cheese dunker? He stood up and loomed over the fridge. The small, chilled box was impervious to the looming, even though it was exceptional. With the tip of one skeletal finger, he tapped his teeth. Click, click, click. Something's wrong here, the Grim Reaper said, pushing the fridge door shut. The staff room was empty. When the Grim Reaper had ducked his head through the doorway and entered, it had been a hive of activity, but, as so often happens, his appearance created a moment of silent, frozen panic. As he stepped towards the small kitchenette, with its kettle that was a clear health and safety issue, the room's occupants remembered the calls, work, and hard-to-explain emergencies that needed dealing with some elsewhere. which was why he was now standing there alone, staring at the refrigerator door, tapping his teeth. Click, click, click. The kitchenette, which was just a counter with an old kettle and a selection of pots where people kept their own personal tea bags, or, Grim realized with horror, instant coffee, took up a corner of the room. Otherwise, the room comprised 4 sofas, each of a different size, color, and material, but all with near identical levels of decrepitude. The floor was sticky for no apparent reason, and Grim, yet again, regretted not wearing sandals. Sandals were an issue he had mulled over for some time. Flesh, or his lack thereof, was a grave issue, and he had, for a fleeting period, sported quite a nice pair of sandals. Unfortunately, the only way to keep them on had been with the addition of socks, which he discovered was frowned upon. He glanced at the overflowing bin beneath the counter and froze. There, lying empty and discarded, as rubbish usually is, was an empty plastic pot. It had a label depicting some of the cheese dunkers in use, and on top of them, in thick marker pen, were the letters G.R. "My snacks!" gasped the Grim Reaper, the usher through the mortal veil, the end of all things, sort of. To anyone observing, it was a gasp, but since there was no air in the afterlife, it wasn't a true gasp. From a medical standpoint, lungs, trachea, the lack of an entire respiratory system did reduce his gasping capacity. "Something is very wrong," said Grim, which was his preferred name, though nobody seemed inclined to use it. Then something caught the Grim Reaper's gaze. It was white, with a slight pink hue that suggested it may have had a brief encounter with a strawberry and was trying to forget it. And it was moving. "Stop," Grim said, and the strange slug of mobile cheese froze. "You're not supposed to move." He leant forward and inspected the glob of faux dairy culture. "I think you better come with me." The soft cheese didn't move, so Grim was forced to use a teaspoon, one that had been left in a cup of water, as if diluting whatever it had previously been dipped into was the same as cleaning it, to shovel the soft cheese back into the pot. He raised it until it was at eye socket level. Maybe 1 or 2 days past the best before date does matter. The Grim Reaper strode through the corridors of Gloomwood's center of power. His unrelenting march left bureaucrats shaken as they shuffled stacks of paper and sharpened pencils on those sharpeners that you attach to a table with a clamp and find excuses to use, even though you've a perfectly adequate point to your pencil. His robes swished with practiced drama, as they always did. Grim spent a significant amount of time picking the material it was made from, paying careful attention to what he termed the swish factor. The master of death and ruler of the afterlife city of Gloomwood stopped in front of a battleship gray office door and looked down at the skeletal hands. In one, he held a scythe, the physical representation of his eternal work, and in the other, an unopened plastic snack pot. Using the hand holding the scythe, he knocked on the door 3 times. The sound reverberated down the corridors through an open-plan office space, causing everyone to freeze. Grim turned his head to look back in the direction he had come from. "Sorry, I forget the effect I can have on people. Don't let me stop you. I'm sure you're all terribly busy. I'm just here about my, cheese dunker." He lifted the pot in his right hand. "I thought someone had eaten it, but—" He stopped and looked upon the faces of terrified men, women, former children, and what appeared to be an aardvark wearing a necktie. Never mind. The door he was standing in front of opened, and Grim turned to see the manager of the Office of the Dead in the doorway, with his hand on the handle. "I wasn't expecting you, sir. Please come in." Grim glided into the office, waving the pot. "It's not right, Crispin." Crispin Neat, the man who ran the city of Gloomwood, or at least ushered it in some form of civilization, closed the door. He offered a thin smile, but was polite, but nothing else. Aha, I see. This is about... Is that some kind of snack? It's a cheese dunker. Look. The Grim Reaper waved the plastic cup.
I love the humor that Ross writes with. I love it. It's so up my alley. I can't express truly how relatable. I mean, and okay, it's possibly for me personally because I write the Reaper, so I relate to the characters instantly. I love the fact that he didn't know that sandals and socks were frowned upon.
I did like that. I picked that
Sandals
up.
and socks are frowned upon, people. It's a no-no. It's a no-no. I don't care. I'm going to challenge Stephen Young. Stephen Young. I got you all mixed up now, Stephen Young, Ross Young. I'm just relating you up. I'm going to challenge Ross Young to upgrade the Reaper into wearing Crocs.
Oh,
they're very,
God.
they're very popular in Australia at the moment, and perhaps the socks and Crocs works well in Australia, apparently. So maybe he needs to sock and croc it.
From what I've heard, mullets are also.
Oh, stop it. Yeah, but we're dumb. We're dumb down under. That's why. Mullets and socks and Crocs. That's why. We're dumb as stumps. No, Ross, get him in a pair of Crocs if he wants to wear the socks. And he can have like little giblet, whatever the things that stick on the front of it. Like, there's like little headlights. Anyway, get onto it. The Reaper needs some Crocs. Little skull print Crocs.
Perfect.
Yeah. There you go. I love it. It's not when you're reading Ross Young, or you are blessed enough to go and find him on Twitter, the Gram, wherever. It's a full immersion into his world. Like, Beezy and Grimm are everywhere. The posts that go up are everyday life, everyday little miniature comic strips that he's continuously putting these characters in your face, making them part of your day, part of your life, so that when a new book comes out, then you're intrigued enough to go and buy it, to read it, to be part of it, to find out what they're doing. It's book throating in the most delicate way, and I love it. I'm here for it because it's a very clever way of doing it, and I'm here for it.
I think it's different. I mean, it's not the same as like your daily VSSs or putting your writing up on a daily basis, but it's sort of in the same vein that it gives people a taste of who you are, what your writing will be like, and it's what draws people in, I think.
But when you're putting up little snippets about a character every day in a cartoon form or an image or whatever else, you're giving your readers a reason to be interested in them. They're intrigued. It's bait. And I love it because it works. It's passive bait. It makes you, if you're doing VSS or you're doing, questions, or you're doing images, or you're doing, like I used to do the cover, if this is your cover, what would your opening story be? Whatever you're doing to engage people, you're making them care, you're making them invest, you're making them seek you out to find what's going on next.
And I don't want to ruffle any feathers, but it's so much more effective than buy my book, please buy my book.
Absolutely.
That doesn't work. And constant, just in your face. That doesn't work. Give us a reason to want to read your
Yeah.
work. Don't
Absolutely.
tell us.
Absolutely. And I mean, while, you can easily go onto Ross Young's page and up the top, as we, there's a pinned tweet, there's his website, there's his details, the book's all there, the series is all there. It's all there, right there for your easy consumption. But of course that you have to go and look at his page for, on your daily feed where, you can find your, organic readership. You find the Beezy and Grimm comic strips pop up and the little, little mini movies that pop up and things like this. So it makes you interested in Beezy and Grimm, the characters, makes you addicted to Beezy and Grimm, the comic strip, which makes you then go click on his page, look at his bio, buy his books. Very, very clever technique, Ross. I applaud you.
Absolutely, absolutely. He sticks to what works.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I click his bio, it's Ross Young, talks nonsense and writes the same. I want to read that.
Yeah. And we ask our authors for a piece of advice. Give us a piece of advice to share with the listeners, right? Here's a piece of advice. He says, I'm not one for advice, but he stands by a simple rule. Don't be a dick. Okay. I mean, sure. I love it. It's to the point. And he does explain that we're all crap sometimes, but it's good to have some, something to aspire towards. And don't be a dick seems to be a very good mantra for everybody to have. Don't be one, don't show it. And I add that on. I feel like I need a little add-on with that one.
Yeah. People, nobody wants to see your genitals.
No. And I haven't asked Ross this, but I assume it'll be very similar to in the factor that I do the same with the Days of Death series, is that there's no quintessential end to the series. Is an ongoing. I imagine. I have, as I said, don't quote me, Ross Young. You can send me hate mail, sweet pea. I don't mind. But I'm going to assume that Gloomwood, if I'm in his head, like I feel like I could be, that it's an ongoing series that he will be writing. Same as my Days of Death series. It's an ongoing series. I don't have a limit for it.
Which you have a fourth one coming up.
Well, yes, but we're not here to talk about that. That while the stories continue, like for Beezy and Grimm, that while the stories continue in the Gloomwood community, that he would still continue writing those books.
Absolutely. They're self-contained stories, but it's something I think, if I'm correct, he can just continue with. He has his characters. He has his world that he works with.
Yeah.
Sort of like the way you have yours. I don't write the same way. I write a little bit different, but I admire people that can do this, to build a little world in which everyone
it becomes not so much a series as more of a serial. I think of it more like a drama, not a drama serial, of course, because it's more paranormal, dark humor, but in that same concept of, Days of Our Lives or, what are those other little daytime garbage shows? The ones that run for years and years and years. And it's that kind of.
Are you capping my soaps on my stories?
The soaps, the soap opera serials. So that's what I put my series down to, and I'm going to, I'm going to put it out there that Ross probably does the same thing, is that he views it more of a serial factor, that it's just every book's an installment on an existing storyline.
Absolutely.
Love it. All right, so where do we find Ross Young for those playing at home? Where do we find him? Where do we stalk him?
Ross Young's, he has his website. It's rossyoung.inc. His Insta is ryoung, SULK, Sulk. Twitter is also the same, ryoung Sulk. Substack, I'm not going to lie. I don't know what Substack is.
I don't know what Substack is either. What is Substack? Okay, that's my homework for today. I'll find out what the hell that is. Ross Young Author, of course, on Facebook. Ross Young Author on Mastodon. He said that he's just got too many. It's ridiculous. Maybe just choose a couple. Well, we just went through them all, Ross, so stuff that. I didn't read it, just read a couple until the end, and then I've already read them all. So the thing is, our young Sulk or Ross Young Author, if you put in Ross Young into your platform searching, you're going to find him and stalk him and tell him that you heard him on our show and how wonderful we are. No.
Stalk him, buy his books, get out there.
For those playing at home, we've been talking the Gloomwood series. Did you know? Also, I did just have a little squeeze. Now, where was I? Flip, I was somewhere. Oh my God, I don't even know where I find my stuff. Hang on, I've got to go back a page, people, because I'm a very professional person here. No, where am I? No, back a page. Oh, I swear to God, there was other books, there's other anthologies that he's part of.
Just quickly, Z.
Yeah.
It's like early in the morning there, a little early to be drunk. Just
yeah,
saying.
No. Hey, it's midday. It's after 10 a.m. Bars are open. They Walk Among Us, which is the Malarkey's Imagine Omnibus. Oh, I swear to God, I need to be drunk to say that. Imagine Omnibus, which is 13 stories of magic and mystery. They Walk Among Us. Yes, Malarkey's Imagine Omnibus. Number one. Oh, God. I have to think about it. You know when you see a word and you have to actually, think before you say it. There's also the Harvey Duckman Presents, which is a collection of sci-fi, fantasy, steampunk, and horror short stories. Ross Young is in that one. Also, the Decagon Key, which is another anthology, which is 11 stories based on the Decagon Key as it passes through. So he's one that is to follow. You need to follow him. You need to stalk him. Get onto the Gloomwood series. Buy the anthologies. Check out his short stories. Great way, anthologies, to also discover other authors. Just saying, because most of them have 11 to 13 other authors in there that write a similar genre. So great way to find something new too.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. That's it. Ross Young. Go find him. Go stalk him. Tell him that we sent you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll be his marketing managers. He's doomed. I try. All right. That's it. That's Talk Wordy to me. For the Ross Young addiction. The addiction to Ross Young's addiction.
Addiction, prostitution, we're all over the place today.
In the literary prostitution. Yes. Oh my God. I got it in there one more time. I'm good. All right. Thank you, Stephen Ross. Who's no relation to Ross Young, but
Maybe someday.
Maybe someday. All right. That's it for us right now. Have a great day, guys. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.